a chance to preach, going to do some workshops, etc. Really a lot of fun. So it's wonderful joining you here virtually today. And today what I want to talk about is inner, outer, and what's the bridge between. Like how do we bring those two together? Because our lives do have that inner and outer self. And I think we know that. We have a body and we have a soul. And this is a way it's described in the book Heaven and Hell, which is powerful. There is an inner and outer person as distinct from each other as heaven and the world. So again, heaven and the world. They must become one if the person is to be truly human. And that may sound a little threatening. It must become one. Well, they are becoming one. I mean, anytime we follow the better angels of our nature, anytime we take the best intentions and offer those on God's behalf, that will start to sew the two together. And it's interesting, right? Because we need both. It's easy to think of religion sort of in an esoteric way, that it gets rid of all the external stuff. It's just all about what's inside. And the reality is, religion at its most powerful is this combination of the two. Because we can't live without the external stuff. The external stuff, that's sort of the law, that's the Ten Commandments. And we need that as a society to actually to find a way to survive. Like, that's really important. And even with our bodies, like, there's just certain things we need to do. We need to brush our teeth. We need to do this. That. We need to do that stuff. And that external part is actually really important. But it's not the most important. The most important is what's on the inside. And how do we connect those two together is I think, so much the job of a spiritual life. Now, before I say that, it's important to know that that's what God is doing. Like, God is sewing those two together. It's very hard to live a life with those two sort of out of integrity. We'll sense it, we'll feel it, feel like we can live that way for a long time. Most, if not all of us, live that way. Sort of, we're kind of in and out of that kind of thing. Sometimes we feel like we really got our life sewn together. Other times it feels very divergent. But what is it that can really pull those two together? And this is what I would offer in terms of what pulls those two together. Thoughtfulness. Very simple. And I love that word thoughtfulness, because it means that what we do is we take a thought, and that thought has a fullness to it, and we're able to apply it. And it's another word for that in the Christian tradition might be discernment. Not in a racial way at all, but it's where we're able to have discrimination between something that's good and something that's better. It's a beautiful way to kind of think of life, and it's a beautiful little takeaway that, I want to bring these two together, the inner and the outer. I want to bring together heaven and the world. How do we do that? And it's not always a grand gesture. A lot of the time, it's just the simple acts of thoughtfulness. And what they need is they need a little time. So we need time to think through thoughtfully, how do we want to do these things? How do we want to come at these things? How do we want to make them work? And that thoughtfulness is a really beautiful part of life. And it's where we actually get to experience heaven right here and right now. So that's the thought for today, friends. May you have a day just with some real thoughtfulness to it, and take a little time just to think, okay, where can thoughtfulness show up in my life today? Who can it show up with? Where might there be a situation where I can just be a little bit more thoughtful than I might usually be? So with that, dear friends, as we always do here at 10 Minutes of Morning Calm, we're going to take a little breath, do a little meditation, do a little prayer, and then I will not actually be able to say hi to folks because, I'm doing this live, but I have to go run to do my presentation here in just a few minutes. So with that, dear friends, let's get launched on our soft landing here. So let's all get a breath. A line from the Old Testament. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, friends, I'm wishing you all the very best today. God bless, and we will talk to you